Warning. The following video contains strong language that some viewers may find offensive or disturbing.
Bisexual people of Reddit. What are the biggest differences between having a relationship with a man and with a woman? In my experience, relationships with men move a lot slower than relationships with women. In a relationship with men, we talk for several weeks. Then we date for a month before we even discuss defining the relationship. With women, you go on 2 dates. And then she has a drawer at your place. Edit, I'm a woman in my late 20s. I've had 4 girlfriends and 3 boyfriends since I was 15. I'm a bi woman, and to be honest, the biggest difference for me is other people's perception of my relationship. When I date men, I don't get the same 21 questions from strangers and family members as to why I've made the choice to date that person. Also, once when I was dating a woman, my step-grandma asked me not to hold her hand or kiss her at Thanksgiving dinner so that it wouldn't confuse the children. They've never asked me to withhold public affection from male partners. I think I've dated more men than women long-term because it was the path of least resistance. As a man, men who've only dated women before are really easy to impress. I bought my ex dinner a few times and he just about lost his mind because no one had done that for him before. I've heard lesbians say the same thing about women. So I think it's more of a societal expectation thing than anything else. The whole "who buys dinner" debate still just blows my entire mind. Me and my BF just switch off if we can remember who paid last. Haha, we don't go out that often, and it makes it all so much easier to deal with. Nobody really pays more than the other, and there isn't some big to-do about who's supposed to buy. As a bisexual man, it's awesome to be little spoon and actually fit. I know that's probably not what you're looking for, but it's the first thing that came to mind. I could share clothes with my girlfriend. Now I just steal my male fiancé's clothes. From my experience at least. WLW relationships tend to move faster. I can't explain it. Like when I was with my ex, we were so ride or die since day one. Saying I love you after less than a month together. Very intense overall. Also, unfortunately, sometimes you get to realize how much bias and prejudice your friends and family might secretly hold. With men, I never had something like that. There were a lot more downtime, I guess. Also, no fear about having to go out while holding hands. Or introducing to the family. Although, aside from a few things, I think it's very different overall because people are different. Ya know, like my ex was very extroverted and my BF is very introverted. So the dynamic changes because of that too. With most of the women I dated, gift acts of kindness were an everyday thing. Like, I'd make an extra stop for something they liked and it wouldn't be a big deal to them. Every single guy I have dated has lost their minds over the little things. When my husband and I first started dating, I stopped and got him a slushie while I got gas. Not even an extra stop. I just said it in front of him at his apartment and you'd have thought it was the Holy Grail. When my wife was my girlfriend, she worked at Edible Arrangements. When she's come over to my place after work, she's bring me free bags of fresh fruit and smoothies. My girlfriend came with smoothies. I mean, come on. The biggest gender-based difference I've experienced is how other people treat your relationship. Yeah, this hetero, I can walk around all day holding hands. Occasional kiss. No big deal. Same gender and even holding hands is suddenly an invite for catcalls. Verbal abuse and the always terrifying shouts out of moving cars. Social expectations are totally different. Hetero and people can't help but ask about weddings and kids before they even know you. Homo and it's probably a phase. Practically no recognition that your partner is even significant to you. That's changing though. Getting better bit by bit. Emo. You know the U-Haul lesbian thing? Totally true. I get so close so fast with other women. While for men it took me 3 years to get my now husband warmed up to the idea of marriage. With my ex-girlfriend before him, she was ready to settle down and get married after like 2 months. Otherwise I'd say I actually do prefer relationships with women. But they can get more intense than relationships I've had with men. but that's not always a good thing. If I'm with a guy, I can hold hands with him and people will assume he's my boyfriend. If I'm with a woman, I can hold hands with her and people will assume she's my sister. Bonus points for a guy asking if he can join in whenever you introduce a woman as your girlfriend. Met this bi girl in college who told me about how a guy we both were acquainted with said, "That's kinda sexy." Guys like that. When she told him she was bi, we referred to him as guys like that for the rest of the year when he wasn't in earshot. Like, dude, it's her sexuality. It's not about whether or not guys like it, lol. I'm a small human, and when I date women they're mostly my size. But men are usually at least 6 inches taller and have 50 pounds on me. There are a lot of physical differences with cuddling and sex with partners of different sizes. I love that men can pick me up when I want them to and that I get to feel tiny and safe with men I trust. With women, it's more equal, so we switch back and forth between being the cuddler and the cuddly. Also with women, we usually take turns getting attention and orgasming during sex, whereas with men it's more likely to be just one effort. Neither men nor women can get me off though. That I have to do myself. I've dated more women than men, but both of the guys were way easier and more direct than any of the women were. Sex with a guy is easier to get started, literally you can be playing video games on the couch and suddenly you're both horny and going for it. Women need more prep time. Generally, it's almost never 0 to 100 in a flash. It's slower to get started and longer to reach the finish. But in my opinion it is more satisfying when you both get there. Culturally it is easier to date women as it isn't immediately seen as taboo by most people. Almost nobody will bat an eye if you kiss as hetero in public. But you'll get a look or two if you're the same gender. These have been my experiences and in no way do I think it is universal. Just the folks that have been nice enough to date me. OMG yes. I am great at flirting with women but terrible at keeping romantic relationships with them. Am female. Because after the initial sexy times I'm so shy about reinitiating, it tends to just settle back into a close, flirty friendship pattern. Whereas with men I can just start sending signals and they help hit the gas. Bisexual women here, women actually were usually hornier, and easier to talk about sex with, but could also be very emotionally demanding. Men are hot in a rough kind of way, and are kinda easier to make them happy. Currently dating a kind of girly guy. Gender roles completely out the window, which makes me very happy. With a hetero relationship, there are a lot of gender-based assumptions. The dude drives and kills the bugs. The woman remembers that they're out of milk and arranges social things. It's not always true, but even then it feels like you're breaking the norm and different. With gays there is much less expectations. Chores tend to be distributed evenly. Who kills the bugs is sometimes both or neither. Just off the top of my head, and noting that everyone is different. There's far more variation between people than between genders. I'm an assertive person by nature and I tend to take charge. When I'm changing a tire and my boyfriend is standing off to the side, we get weird looks. No one blinks if my girlfriend is standing there. Women do more housework without being asked. You have to task manage guys more. My current boyfriend is not like this at all. Fortunately, women are more cautious about personal safety. A lot of them, e.g., won't go on walks alone in the dark. I'm a taller woman, 5'8", 172 centimeters, and I've done a lot of solo travel. So I'm a lot less cautious than my girlfriends. And sometimes I have to remind myself to be more mindful of their concerns. Even tomboyish women have more elaborate grooming routines compared to most guys. I've had to talk numerous boyfriends out of 3-in-1 body wash, shampoo, conditioner. Women tend to smell really nice. But, honestly, people of all genders are gross. Clean, messy, kinky, loud, absent-minded, annoying, brilliant and lovable. Edit, folks. If your partner is demanding you meet grooming, chore expectations they themselves won't meet. Maybe don't date that person? You are worth so much and you deserve an equal. A partner who wants you to shave everything and do 90% of the housework. is not actually a partner. Take care. As I guy the first found I get more excited for Christmas when I date guys rather than girls because it's a mutual want and desire, you get to share most things. Clothes and video games. Women are sweeter and love little gestures more than guys. Like when I do the dishes or make supper or clean the house, they get super appreciative. Guys just brush it off or don't notice those kind of efforts. In general, there's good and bad in both sexes. Many are shocked to know that abuse and toxicity can come from both sexes. But both can also give loving and fulfilling relationships too. For me, it would be that women can be a little bit more impulsive emotionally and more adventurous. Women also, hint, a lot more than men. Women are also a bit more cuddly. Boobs are commonly used as pillows. Men are more predictable. They hint far less and are more likely to just tell you exactly like it is. When they are upset or angry, they definitely voice it most of the time. Can be a little more difficult to get out of their shell. For some reason, some men don't like their ass being smacked or groped by the opposite sex. I'm a bi dude. Men more straightforward. Less drama. Less head games. Can be really nice. But also not as exciting. Women less straightforward. More drama. But much bigger emotional payoff when things so work out. Painting with an extremely broad brush here. After having dated several people of both genders, I've had drama Y guys and straightforward girls as well. Some bi people think that being with your own gender tends to be more enjoyable sexually, because they know what to do already. But I've found that being with the opposite gender is just as enjoyable. With communication and a modicum of practice, I ended up marrying a woman. Thanks for watching. If you liked the video, give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification button. See you next time.